Godzilla x Kong, Guardians of Equestria. Written by Phantom Plus 1234, Chapter 19. Godzilla vs. Destoroyah. Godzilla's eyes burned with hatred as he stared down his old nemesis. Destoroyah screeched as he slowly made his way towards Mount Ares. "Mother, what do we do?" Skystar whimpered in a panicked state. But Queen Nova refused to back down in the face of destruction. "Calm yourself, Skystar. I won't let the perfect destroyer harm you or any of my loyal subjects," Nova hissed. "Wait, Queen Nova, you can't be thinking about fighting here, are you?" asked Silverstrom. "Don't risk it, your highness. Instead let Godzilla handle this one," Twilight added. "How can you be sure that overgrown lizard is able to stop the perfect destroyer?" asked Nova. Twilight and her friends nodded in unison. "We have faith in Godzilla." Queen Nova's eyes widened as the ponies declared their faith in the king of monsters. She turned towards Godzilla as he roared. Destoroyah responded with a war cry of his own before opening its maw. As Godzilla charged towards the perfect Lefavern, Destoroyah's horn began to glow in a bright orange ore before firing a stream of helix purple energy of Godzilla, temporarily slowing him down. Without hesitation, Destoroyah launched an onslaught of beam attacks as Godzilla staggered backwards from the constant attacks. Angered, Godzilla retaliated with an atomic breath. While the blast connected, the ponies were shocked to find out that Destoroyah simply brushed off the attack like it was nothing. "That didn't do anything," said Rainbow Dash. Destoroyah resumed its barrage of attacks, blasting Godzilla multiple times with its beam attacks. Godzilla let out a weakened roar as he toppled over. "Uh-oh," Kappa swallowed hard. "This is already looking bad." Rarity screamed. "Oh," Fluttershy whimpered and covered her eyes with her hooves, unable to watch as Godzilla succumbed to the constant attacks from Destoroyah. "That what's going on?" asked Twilight. "Hasn't Godzilla bested this enemy before?" "He did, but the problem comes from that purple energy beam that Destoroyah is firing off," Elin explained. "The purple beam?" Starlight repeated. "You see, Godzilla isn't your typical lizard. He feeds off of nuclear energy, meaning that killing Godzilla back in the day wasn't easy. Nuclear weapons were only going to strengthen his radioactive abilities, so researchers had to find an alternative," Alien continued. "We didn't think it was possible until a man by the name of Daisuke Surazawa developed the Oxygen Destroyer, which was a weapon that had the power to dissolve all living organisms in the water by depleting their oxygen. The Oxygen Destroyer, if we used something like that in Equestria, all life would go extinct." Twilight trembled at the thought. "Sometimes I forget you humans create the most terrifying things," said Applejack. "Back to what I was saying, Surazawa successfully killed the first Godzilla, but what we didn't know is that as a result of the Oxygen Destroyer going off, it caused a race of prehistoric crustaceans to mutate and adapt into what eventually turned out to be Destoroyah," Alien continued. "What we failed to realize is that due to the mutations, Destoroyah can now deal the same type of damage as the Oxygen Destroyer by injecting his opponents with micro-oxygen through his Oxygen Destroyer ray, the purple beams he's been firing off. Wait, so if the Oxygen Destroyer ray has the same effects as the Oxygen Destroyer, doesn't that mean Godzilla is?" Twilight trails off. Alien nods as the smiles melts off the ponies' faces. "We're screwed," Rainbow Dash exclaimed as the realization hits them. "Godzilla darling, we need you," Rarity screamed. "Please don't give up," Fluttershy pleaded. Godzilla groaned as he got to his feet. But before he could retaliate, Destoroyah's horn began to glow as he slashed down onto Godzilla's left shoulder. Godzilla roared as he stumbled backwards before getting hit with another strike of Destoroyah's horn. Angered, Godzilla fired off another atomic breath but once again failed to deal any damage to the perfect Lefavern. Destoroyah immediately struck him down with another swing of his horn before pushing him back with another blast of his Oxygen Destroyer ray. "This is bad. Godzilla's actually losing," said Spike. "Is there anything we can do?" asked Applejack. "What do you expect us to do?" asked Rainbow Dash. "If Godzilla can't beat that thing, I don't think anything will change as we get involved. But Godzilla's going to die at this rate," Fluttershy whimpered. "Destoroyah's weakness is extreme temperature changes. If we could somehow lower or raise the temperature around Destoroyah, Godzilla might stand a chance," said Eileen. "Any idea how we'd do that?" asked Rainbow Dash. They looked over as Godzilla lay in the water, severely weakened. He looks up as Destoroyah prepared to fire off another beam, only to be disrupted by a blast to the back of the head, knocking him face first into the water. "What was that?" Trixie. They looked behind Destoroyah as Methra suddenly descended, landing in front of them. "Methra." The pony's worried expression as Methra rejoined them. "Yes, Queenie." Pinky cheered. "Methra, Godzilla is." Fluttershy walked up to the queen of the monsters with a pleading expression. Methra looked over at her fallen comrade and hovered over to his side. As she inspected Godzilla's conditions, something lunged onto her back. Methra screeched as she threw herself back, landing in the water. The ponies watched as Methra was suddenly attacked by a group of mini Destoroyahs, who were clawing at her with the two spear-like appendages sprouting from its back. "More baby Destoroyahs?" asked Spike. "No, that's Destria's aggregate form. They're similar in appearance to his juvenile form, only difference being that while Destria couldn't freely swap between forms as a juvenile, in his aggregate form he can free change his appearance," explained Eileen. "But they're ganging up on Methra. That's not fair, those cheaters." Pinky pouted. As Methra struggled to escape the swarm, one of the Destoroyahs climbed on top of her and plunged its inner jaw into her chest. Methra let out a pained screech as she struggled to throw them off. "No, stop, leave her alone." "Flutter," she begged with tears in her eyes. Just when it seems like Methra was done for, a blast of atomic breath knocked the swarm of Destoroyahs off. Godzilla rose to his feet and roared as the Destoroyah swarm retreated back into the water. "Yes, Big G's back," Pinky cheered. Godzilla slowly made his way over to Methra as she flicked herself back over. As Godzilla comforted Methra, a pillar of water erupted as Destoroyah emerged in his perfect form, growling. Godzilla glared at his adversary with burning hatred as he roared. "Oh, you pissed him off now," said Bernie. Destoroyah fired off his oxygen destroyer ray, but this time Godzilla was ready as he countered with an atomic breath. As the beam flashed, the pressure change caused an explosion. Godzilla used the smoke to his advantage as he slashed at Destoroyah, pushing him back. Destoroyah screeched as Godzilla wailed on him with frenzied swipes of his claws. "Yeah, payback time," Rainbow cheered. As Godzilla continued his relentless assault, Destoroyah pushed him back with a blast of his oxygen destroyer ray. Godzilla staggered backwards while Destoroyah began charging up another blast. Thinking quickly, Godzilla swung his tail into Destoroyah, causing him to lose balance, and fired the ray into the side of the mountain. As the group clung onto each other, Spike was knocked off the side from the explosion. Spike! Twilight after him and distracting Godzilla for long enough for Destoroyah to knock him down with another blast from his oxygen destroyer ray. Thankfully, Methra jumps into action and catches the baby dragon on her back after hearing Twilight's distressed call. "Methra!" Spike gasped. Methra screeched as she flew over both Godzilla and Destoroyah, carrying him away from the battle. But Destoroyah wasn't going to let her get away easy as he transformed into his flying form and flew up in hot pursuit of Methra. "Yikes!" Spike yelped as Destoroyah attempted to shoot Methra down with his beam attacks. Thankfully, due to her agile and nimble body, she was able to dodge Destoroyah's attacks. She quickly finds him by flying over his head and shooting a silky web, sending Destoroyah crashing back down to the earth. "Had to take that," Rainbow boasted. "You don't mess with Moth Girl." But just as Methra descended with Spike on her back, a pincer-tipped tail erupts from the water and latches onto Methra's underside. Whoa! Spike quickly grabs onto Methra as she struggles to break free. Suddenly, Destoroyah emerges from the depths in his perfect form and roars before dragging Methra down into the water with Spike still in her back. "Spikey Wiki!" Rarity shrieked. Godzilla tries to get up only to get blasted by Destoroyah while he pulls Methra deeper into the water. "Spike, hang on." Twilight tries to go after him, but Applejack holds her back. "No, Sugar Cube, it's too dangerous." "I don't care, I need to save Spike." Twilight struggles against Applejack as she's joined by Starlight. "Twilight, get a hold of yourself, you can't go down there when Destoroyah is wreaking havoc." Starlight yelled. "Spike's going to drown at this rate." Twilight gasped as tears begins welling up in her eyes. "Spike." The group watches things go from bad to worse as Godzilla slowly begins to weaken from the Destoroyah's onslaught of ray blasts, and Methra slowly drowns as Destoroyah holds her underwater with his tail. Twilight eventually stops resisting as she falls to her knees sobbing. "Spike, oh, this is really bad," Flutter, she whimpers. As Destoroyah's victory cry rings out. "Godzilla actually lost?" Rainbow asked in disbelief. "No, that can't be. What will happen to Equestria without him?" Rarity asked. Godzilla looks up at Destoroyah in his weakened state as he begins charging up one final oxygen destroyer ray to finish him off. But just as all hope was lost, a stream of fire suddenly erupted from the water, striking Destoroyah in the back. The overgrown crustacean screeched in pain as he fell face first into the water. "What was that?" asked Tempest. As Destoroyah slowly got up, the water where Methra drowned began to glow as a pillar of water erupted, followed by Methra's cry. From within, a familiar purple-scaled dragon emerges and roars, announcing his presence. "Is that?" asked Eileen. "It can't be right," asked Silverstrom. The dragon stared down Destoroyah with burning rage as green flame flowed out from its maw. "Spike!" Twilight's eyes widened as she whispered his name. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and leave a comment.